Welcome to Nikki Speaks TV, you guys, the relationship series. Today in studio, I have April Patterson all the way from Austin, Texas. You cannot wait, I cannot wait to have you listen to her. Stay tuned. Welcome to Nikki Speaks TV, the relationship series. The pandemic forced us all to slow down and do an assessment of our relationships. Whether you're dating, engaged, married, or divorced, we'll share tools to help everyone. Join me this season as my guest and I talk about all things relationships. Okay, welcome to the Nikki Speaks show. I appreciate you being here, April Patterson.
Of course, I'm super excited.
Yes, tell us who you are and what you do in the world.
Man, that's such a loaded question. People ask me
Right.
all the time, what do I do? And then I'm like, how much time do you have?
Right.
It's
It's like so many different things.
It is. And like, I don't even know if it was intentional. I just kind of have so many interests. But so let's start with like one of my things. I'm an actress.
Yeah.
I got into it because my kids are actors.
Okay.
And so I managed them for years, and I was just so inspired by these beautiful, empathetic human beings that they were becoming through their journey of training and acting.
Right.
That I started taking lessons, and it completely changed me. And
In what way?
it, and I teach acting now, so I can say this now that I'm a teacher. In order to be a good vessel to tell stories, someone else's story at that, you have to be so self-aware that training as an actor forces you in a lot of ways to face yourself. Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of things that don't serve you, a lot of habits that don't serve you, a lot of trauma that has been pushed down.
Right.
You find that those things that hinder you in your personal life are also the things that hinder you as an actor. So you tend to like face yourself when you are training because you do want to be the most open, available vessel to tell someone else's story.
Wow.
And so that's one of the things I do.
Yeah. So what is that process like when you face yourself and how does that surface?
Oh, it could be very painful. Yeah, I think
It comes through the roles you portray?
Well, no, so I don't
Practice?
bring any of my personal self into the roles that I play.
Okay.
But I want to be a vessel to be fully available to tell the stories.
Okay.
And so, but what you find that is if you are not really self-aware, then you're bringing a lot of the habits and things that don't serve you into your work. So like even the smallest things like your tics and the barriers that you hold up when, facing other people. Like,
Protect yourself.
yeah, all the walls that we have up. So like, as adults, we tend to build a lot of walls. We've, accumulated a little bit of trauma. And so we have these habits that don't make us as vulnerable as adults, And so it really doesn't serve you to have those things in your life when you're trying to be a vessel to tell someone else's story. So when I say you do a lot of facing yourself is that you face those things,
Right.
So you can be fully available to tell stories.
I love it. I love it.
It's like therapy.
Right. I'm thinking, I was like, oh, maybe that's something we should try.
I have a lot of people
Try.
who have no desire to be actors that come and take my class, and it's like life-changing for them because I force them to like really be insightful about who they are.
Right. And I would think, I work with clients all the time and it's, in the areas of self-confidence. So I think that you have to strengthen that self-confidence muscle.
Yeah.
When you're, face to face with becoming an actor or actress or what have you.
Yeah, for sure.
So what was that journey like watching your children? Because I know you don't get every part right. So I know there may be ups and downs that people don't know about.
Yeah,
behind the scenes.
Yeah, and as a parent, it's really hard to know how to guide them, especially when it's so new to you as well.
Exactly.
And I guess I'll talk about one of the other things that I do. But
Please, we want to know them all.
So I mean, I produce as well, but also I am in getting a certification for a brain-based, neuroscience-based counseling coaching certification so that I can help kids and their parents in the industry, because
I
I
love
wish
it.
that I had had that for
Right.
myself.
Right.
Yeah,
Love
so
that.
part of not having a lot of insight and dealing with yourself is you tend to project a lot on your kids, or
Right.
you don't have any true guidance into how to deal with your children
Right.
if you don't have like any insight on how to deal with yourself. And so it's
Exactly.
really hard to navigate an industry that can be so hard for them when as a parent, it really is.
And so tell us a little bit about the brain, that long term that you said.
Yeah,
for coaching.
it's a
I'm gonna say it right.
brain-based, neuroscience-based coaching program,
I love
certification
it.
program.
I love it.
And what it is basically a client-led
Okay.
program that teaches clients help them dig a little bit deeper into why they behave the way they do, and help them think a little bit deeper about their behaviors, their emotions, their way of thinking, so
Right.
that they can have self-guided behaviors more and be more cognitively aware of their behaviors.
Okay.
So it'll be more productive when they want to achieve their goals. And
Wow.
so part of why I did this program is because I want the parents and the kids to be, have as much insight as they possibly can to make informed decisions about navigating this industry in the most productive and healthy mental way.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I love that, because you can, the family comes together and they're able to help
Yeah.
each other as you go through this journey, towards
Yeah.
success. Do you see in your children, I'm sure every child is different, so
Mhm.
different gifts and talents. How do you foster that as an actor yourself?
I will say that as my kids got older and started getting into all of their activities, not just acting,
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of going through this self-discovery journey myself.
Okay.
And so I realized that a lot of things that my kids were like, I want to do that. I was seeing them be so brave and jumping into all of these things that they just wanted to try. And I'm like,
Right.
I've always wanted to try that too. So we did so many things together. Like
Cute.
I know, it was crazy. We took music lessons together. So my daughter and I play the guitar. My son plays
Okay.
the
I'm taking
piano.
lessons too.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoo, this is hard out here.
Yeah, it was rough. Well, the crazy
My
thing
fingers.
is, I desired to play the guitar, and I had
too.
5 guitars that had been sitting in my house for
Wow.
5 years, and I still didn't know how to play them because there was a part of me that was too fearful to like step out on faith and just go take lessons, right? So I just like had this desire, and I had these guitars just staring at me for such a long time. And the minute
Right.
my kids were like, we want to take music lessons, it inspired me to be brave enough to like jump in with them.
That's so fun.
It was really fun, and we used to do recitals.
Okay.
And I
Family
was-
recitals?
Girl, let me tell you, because look,
I love it.
it was.
I want to invite to the
Yeah,
next one.
well, I'm the only adult in the recital.
Oh.
So we would do these recitals, and because we took lessons together, our music teacher would make us play a song together. So we had like a little family band.
You guys were the Jackson 5 or
The Jackson 3.
The Patterson
The
3.
Patterson
Yeah,
3.
there we go.
Yeah, we were the Patterson 3. But it was so fun, and I was totally brave with it. I would invite my family and friends, and I'd be the only adult up there. I had like the time of my life. So my kids taught me how to be brave and to do these things. And so as they were jumping into exploring who they were and what they wanted to do, I would kind of jump in with them because I'd spent all of my adult life raising kids and living
Yes.
for them. And everything I did was for them, and I never explored any of my desires.
I love that.
And, we all have similar interests. And so as they were jumping into things, I was like, I'm going to try it too. Why not?
Yeah.
And I fell in love with all the things. We teach karate together as well. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So me and my 2 older kids tested for our second Dan black belts together.
Yay.
And it was really emotional.
Yes,
It
yes.
was good.
Well, I love that you said that because for moms, I think sometimes, like you said, we spend so much time raising our kids. And then for me, I was recently counseling a mom that, she's an empty nester now. And she's like, I don't know who I am,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, I can relate to that because I remember having that feeling. It's like, who am I now?
Yeah.
And so I went back, and that's when I decided to, take guitar lessons because I sing a little bit. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just discovered the younger Nikki that never explored these things because you're so
Yeah.
busy.
Well, you do. You have these desires. They're always there. And you
Yeah.
always have these interests, and then life and fear and all of these things just keep us from moving forward on it. And we tell
Right.
ourselves that we can't because of
Right.
this reason and that reason. And the truth is that, I truly believe when you get older, you develop this like fear of just moving out on faith
Right.
on some of the things that your heart desired because it's been blocked by responsibility,
That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. So what would you say to a mom that may be listening that kind of is redefining herself or interested in exploring,
Oh my goodness.
you know, not being defined by her children or the
Yeah.
role of being a mom or a wife?
I don't think that journey ever ends.
Okay.
I think we're in a constant state of evolving.
Okay.
And so, and we have seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have seasons of motherhood.
Right.
And I don't necessarily think that, it's a bad thing if one season is that you're pouring into your kids. But
Right.
I do encourage all moms to, even if that's like their main season is just being a caregiver of their family and their kids, to be very intentional about taking time to explore what they want to.
Right.
Even if you don't know what that means, like any little interest. I had a friend that was like, I've always wanted to take pottery lessons, but that's just so silly, right? And I'm like, no,
it's not.
not silly. Go to pottery class
Right.
and do that. And she did, and she loved it.
Right.
So
That's so good.
we tend to like discredit or push down the little desires that we have, and I would just say, don't do that.
Yeah.
No matter how scary or silly it seems, just do it. Just go do it.
Just like Nike said.
Just do it. April.
Right,
version.
right. So how do you maintain balance? Because I know that you're a busy woman, you wear so many hats and successful in all areas, So what's balance mean to you? Yeah, I mean, I watch you, I follow you. I'm like, she's doing it. You scroll. Like, wow.
You know what's crazy? I'm just not even a social media person, but I'm so in love with the things that I do that I like to share.
Yes. Well,
And
we
so,
need to see that.
yeah.
That's inspiration,
Yeah.
for so many people.
All right. What was the question again? You just asked me.
Balance.
Balance,
How
right.
do you maintain balance?
That was a struggle for me because I think when I was going through this phase of self-exploration at first,
Right.
I just jumped into everything head first, and I was like,
Little bit this,
whoa,
that.
wait, I still got a family, I still got
Right.
children, oh, and I still got a business, so how do I do all of these things? And that came with not taking everything that everyone threw at me anymore. So using the power of no, saying no to a few things, and really evaluating the season that I'm in, and if it would benefit me to take on certain projects when I'm in a season where my family really needs to be nurtured.
Right.
So like last year I turned down 3 production projects.
Oh, wow.
And in the past, when I first started producing things, I would take any and everything just for the experience.
Right.
And then I very quickly learned that not any and everything was for me.
Right. How
And
do you choose?
I have a really good discernment about what's
Okay.
about projects that feel right in my spirit, but also I don't say yes right away. I take some time to think about what I say yes to, and then I evaluate all aspects of my life.
Okay.
So if this season, for me, it's really important for me to nurture my family and we're going through things, and we've had a lot happen, or if I notice that one of my children needs me a lot more than they ever have in previous seasons,
Right.
then I say no to things because that's more important to me. And there's been a lot of my kids are so sufficient,
Good.
and they can do everything on their own. They pretty much manage their entire careers by themselves. I sign where the guardian needs to sign, and for the most part, they communicate with their agents. They do all of their own auditions. They send in everything on their own.
Wow.
And so I taught them to be that way because I wanted to have the freedom to do my stuff.
Right.
So there was a season where I was just doing so much because they didn't need me as much. And then I realized they did need me. And so I had to pull the reins on a few projects because I'm noticing that, they're really strong, productive, self-sufficient children, but your presence is still needed. So you have to be able to discern what is for you and what is not. And if this is important enough, like, is it not going to just benefit you in your career, but is it going to be productive for the flow of your family in this season as well?
Right, right. Hi guys, it's Nikki here, and I just wanted to encourage you to go to Amazon right now and purchase my book, Finding Your Voice Amid the Trauma and Drama of Everyday Life. If you or someone you know is going through something right now, an issue, a crisis, they're having trouble finding and discovering who they are, then this book is for you and it's for them. I cannot wait till you read it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on all major platforms at Nikki.speaks. Well, I think that, definitely the different roles that you have now with the coaching that you're working on and also your business, helping families. I mean, it seems like that's just exactly what you've been destined to be, know, and it's neat when I see people have the experiences that are going to lead them to the future careers that will help, and give back, with their pain points. So, some things you went through, like you said, that you didn't know, and now you're able to share that with others. So that's so powerful. So tell us some acting tips.
Oh my goodness.
Teach me what to do. Give me like 2 minutes.
That's, girl, you need more than 2 minutes with you. I'm like years into this, and I feel like I learn something new every single time I do a piece of work or take on a new project. I don't, the acting tip that I would give is that you just need to be a human being. And I think people, especially when they're first starting, they want to, like, I hope I'm acting this right. And it's like, it's not about acting at all. It's about just being a fully present human being in the moment that you're having with someone. And I always tell my students that I teach acting to, you're doing it right when you have no idea what's going to happen or come up inside of you. Wow. Because you allow yourself to. Right. Yeah. And there's just a level of like insight and work that you have to do as an individual to be able to allow that to happen. Right. And my teacher always says it feels like you're falling backwards into a black hole because you have no idea what you're falling into, but it leaves a space for you to be fully available to let whatever happens happen. And that's, to me, vulnerability. Yeah, absolutely. It's all about vulnerability. Wow. And not giving two beans about product and presentation when you have no idea that there's a camera and 50 crew members in front of you, and you're just so present that you forget everything and everyone is there. That's when you're doing it right, because you're just so present in the moment, and you're just being a human being reacting to another human being. So I've always wondered, when people are crying in roles and, doing roles, that I'm like, how can they, tap into that? Is there something that you would say that you have to do? Like, how do you get in that zone, that mindset to be the human being, especially if it's something that you've never experienced before? You do the work. Okay. Yeah, the studio that I work for, which I love, is Carol Hickey Acting Studio. Okay. I think they have the healthiest way of working. And it's the foundation of it is imagination work, is that you create two different realities. And so when you do the work on the story, it becomes like another reality. And it's really fascinating, as I've been doing this like brain-based program, how our brains work. And then I realized, man, we're just like wiring and rewiring our brain when we act, because we're telling our brain that this is real, right? We're doing so much work on it. We're telling our brain that this reality is real. And we don't bring any of our own personal experiences and life into that reality. So when you are telling this story, you're experiencing real emotions. Right. And you don't have to like fake cry or practice cry or do some kind of method to make you cry. Right. You just let whatever happens happen. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh, it's so awesome. Yeah. I'm just sitting here like, well, because some of my favorite actresses, like, Angela Bassett, I just think about them and I'm like, man, they're just so powerful. And you as well. It's like, just to be able to do that and teach it and have children that are doing it, it's just a beautiful thing to see. Yeah. I think when I first started this journey, I measured my success in it by how many things I could successfully book, how many projects I could work on. And now none of that matters to me anymore. That's good. I just love the work so much that, to me, being successful at it is being like a full vessel, like available vessel to tell a story. Yeah. Because when you experience telling a story and it's just so real to you, right, and you're affected and the other person's affected and the people watching you are affected, to me, that's a measure of success.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
so yeah, it's wonderful. I love it.
It is.
I love it.
So tell me, I do a lot of inner child work with my clients, and when you look back to little April, you know, when you think back to little April, you know, what does she want to be?
I want to be exactly where I am now.
Okay.
I think the woman that I am now is, if little April saw who I am now, she would be really proud. So it took a lot of work and everything in my life to get to this point. And people ask me all the time, like, so what do you want to do in the future? What is your goals? And obviously I have high level goals.
Right.
But for the most part, I think just being present in the moment, doing the things that I absolutely love, and just being so happy and fulfilled in that, and being in a place where I'm so aware that I'm able to effectively communicate and have good relationships with the people in my life now.
Right.
That I'm exactly where I want to be.
Right.
Yeah.
What is your why?
What is my why? Love.
Love. I love love.
It is. Yeah. I do what I do because I absolutely love it. And I was inspired to do the coaching program because I love the people that I work with. And I can see that, you know, they want help, they need help, and I love the people that I work with enough to want to guide them as much as I can, or help them be more insightful about themselves so that they can guide themselves in the most mentally healthy way.
Right.
I love my kids. So, you know, whatever they want to do with themselves, I love to love on them and encourage and cheer them on. I'm like their biggest cheerleader.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's really annoying to some people, but I don't care.
Oh yeah, that's how I am with mine too.
Yeah, I really don't care because I think they're going to have enough people in this world telling them that they're not capable, and I don't want them to ever believe it.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So true. And you want to be that person.
Yeah,
you know,
for
your
sure.
family, those people that can encourage each other in those times. So I know somebody's listening now that may be going through a rough time. You know, this is the relationship series that I'm doing. And so I want you to kind of speak to how important it is to have a relationship, to foster these relationships that you have. Everything that you said is your why is based upon relationships, sounds like. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you think is the key?
I think, you know, when you're more self-aware and when you have a lot of insight about yourself, and I mean, that's a constant journey,
Right.
because we're constantly evolving anyway, then you can show up more effectively for the people in your life,
Right.
whether it's clients, family. And to me, I want to show up for the people in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, my relationships are really important. As a coach, I want my clients to know that I care.
Right.
You know, they're not just coming to me to get a service.
Right.
And they're coming to me because I care about how healthy they are in their processes, in their ability to achieve their goals.
Right.
You know, my kids, I want them to know that I love and I care about what they want, and so I'm going to put everything behind them and let them know that everything they want to do, that they always have some love and support.
Right.
I care about my marriage. Sorry, I'm going to get emotional.
No, please. I love tears. I say when they show up, it means that the body wants to release those. So
Yeah. So I'm just such a crybaby. I'm so sorry.
I am too. I'm going to be joining you in a second. Just don't worry.
You know, I love my husband, and it took a long time for us to understand each other and how to communicate. And so I want him to always know that whatever he aspires to be, I'm going to show up for it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's so important for the people in my life to know that I care.
Right.
And that I'm fully behind, even my classmates, because I'm still a student. I still take acting lessons, you know? People will be like, really? You still take acting? Like forever and ever and a day, I will always take acting lessons.
Yeah.
And anytime any of my classmates have acting wins, I'd be like the first one to brag about it. I'm like,
Yes.
yes, we all winning over here.
Right.
We all, like when one person wins, April wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody wins.
Right.
And so I just want to show up so passionately for the people in my life, for my clients, for my husband, for my children, for my friends, for my family. You know, it's everything.
I just feel like you have such a big heart, you know, and I think that is so awesome, you know, just to get emotional about the relationships that you have, you know, specifically your marriage and things like that. I know a lot of people they don't make it, you know, because of communication.
Hard.
Yeah. Hey, I put my time in and I was so proud. I'm proud though. I'm like, hey, we made it 20 years, you know, that was a long time. But, you know, and people will say, is that a failure? And I'm like, no, absolutely not. 20 years?
Yeah, that's a long
You know, if you do
time.
the math, 20 times 365, that's a lot of days, you know.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Communication is important. Supporting each other and being each other's cheerleader is important, you know. And so I commend you for doing that. And not only doing that, but also raising children at the same time, working on your own aspirations at the same time, helping and sowing into other people's lives at the same time. So I'm just like, you know, your heart is just humongous, and I think that's beautiful, you know, to be able to have that. Is there anything that you feel and I know you said people ask you this all the time, that you have yet to do that you want to do?
I definitely have some high level goals that I want to achieve. I want to be a resource for content creators.
Okay.
I produce, and I also just got into directing. And all by accident. I don't tell you, I don't ever do nothing like on purpose. Things just like come to me. But people just see me as a resource already and ask me to do things. And I'm like, yeah, I'll give anything a try, and then end up falling in love with it.
Right.
So I do want to be a resource for content creators and help be a connector to people in the industry.
Good.
Help produce, help connect, you know, content creators to get their stuff watched and streamed.
Okay.
Provide a space for them to create stuff. So like a studio. There's just so much. I for sure want to be a resource for people to be able to come and have a little guidance on how to achieve their goals.
Okay.
You know, and that requires constant reflection on my part about what I want and my goals. And, you know, so I have to always be looking inward.
Right.
Because you can't help people if you're like so oblivious to what's happening within yourself.
Right. Can you do it simultaneously or no? Do you feel?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And then trying to think, I have like so many aspirations.
Right.
That never go away. But,
but you're doing it. I mean,
I am. I want to be a mentor and a coach, and you know, I'm doing that kind of now, teaching. Still always a student. I think no matter what I do in life, I'm always going to be learning at that thing.
Right.
So even though I produce, I'm constantly like hitting up my producer friends who have done more things and like, what you working on now? Let me come in the mix and help and whatever. Right. Hold your umbrella. I'll do the most minute thing. I will I'll run and get coffee so that I can be somewhere on a set, just learning even more. So there's no ego there whatsoever, you know?
Right, yeah.
And I
think people miss that.
Yeah.
You have to kind of, you know, give in order to receive.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, to get to where you want to go to and grow to, you know, as well.
Yeah, and I think people kind of project their ability to do things on you all the time.
Okay.
So when I first started and was super green and very much an amateur at everything, at the, you know, in my 30s, and you know, you have these people that have been doing it for years and started. They project, or even the friends who don't do any of the things that you aspire to do. Not friends, people who don't do anything that you aspire to do.
Right.
Doubt your ability to be able to do those things. And I'm not about that at all.
No.
You know? Like, I'm not about, like, don't be projecting what you think you're capable of on me. I'm fully capable of achieving whatever I put my mind to. And I have been able to achieve so much more. And I think it took like the first little project and I was like, how the heck did I do this?
Right.
But I did do it, and I can do it again.
Right.
And I did.
And it teaches us not to doubt.
Right, right. So the more brave that I allowed myself to be, the more I realized how capable I was. And so for me, the sky's the limit. I don't put a cap on what I feel like I can achieve at all.
I love that.
And I mean, obviously, I have realistic expectations of my seasons in life and what I can do within the seasons of life, but I for sure know that I'm fully capable of anything I choose to believe that I can do. And so I project that, I hope is a good thing, on my kids.
Yes,
you know?
that is a good thing.
Yeah, and my family. And so whenever they get in moments of doubting themselves, I'm like, no, we don't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, what's not for you won't be for you in this season.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a true believer that if you do the work and you keep showing up and you continue to keep doing the work, that you will be where you want to be eventually.
Right. Thanks for connecting with us today. Nikki Speaks Therapy is a platform that focuses on sharing tips, tools, and strategies to help you have a healthier and happier life. Follow us at NikkiSpeaksTherapy.com to stay up to date on all Nikki Speaks events. I'm so glad you're here. And you know, there's a cliche, trust the process, but you really do have to trust the process.
For sure, yeah.
And it's so funny, today I was driving in and I was looking, you know, sometimes I look for signs. I'm a signs person.
Yeah, me too, I am, yeah.
So I'm like, I want, you know, what are the signs going to be, God, today? And so I was driving and I saw a church to my right and it just had a message that God loves you. I said, I'll take that. And then I kept driving and it was some other, you know, little things that kind of let me know that, you know, today was going to be a good day. And I think people forget to look at the little signs that they have, and they listen to the wrong voices, you know, the voice of doubt that we have internally. And then, like you said, sometimes people will project, you know, their maybe insecurities or, you know, their lack of belief in what you're building on you. And so you really have to protect your space, you know.
Absolutely.
How do you do that?
I think I try very hard to do a lot of work within myself so that when people do try to project their beliefs about what I'm capable of, that I just don't absorb it at all.
Right.
And it's, you know, it waxes and wanes, it ebbs and flows between a little self-doubt sometimes and then having to remind myself. And I think even doing this program has helped me with that because I've been able to provide myself with tools and processes to help me get back into the headspace that I need to. So whereas I know that my normal demeanor was when someone would project their doubt on me, I would really feed into that and start having this negative, absorb it and have this negative self-talk. And I know that immediately when someone says something to me and that thought does come up, I immediately start like talking affirmations about what I am capable of doing. And so,
I love that. I love affirmations.
Yeah. And so, and it's really simple. It's just a really simple thing to do, but it does affirm what I'm capable of, and it does block out that negative talk. And even when I started doing it, it wasn't even that I necessarily believed it at first. Like, you know, no, April, you can do this, and April, you can achieve this, and in the back of my head, I'm like, do I really believe that? But it didn't matter whether I believed it or not. I just kept speaking it to myself, and to the point to where I start to believe it.
Right, and that's, you know, the brain loves repetition. I do. I mean, I'm very interested in your program because neuroscience has been my thing for the last few years. And there was a study in Canada that I found, and it was saying that we get 85 to 95% negative thoughts daily. And so I was like, you know what, because I came aboard this one platform that I work for, and I said, I'm going to share this with everybody I talk to, you know, all my clients, because I was like, you know, I think we can start there. You know, if we start changing those negative thoughts that are coming to us automatically, that are coming to us because of self-doubt, because of people, you know, or the narratives we tell ourselves, then we can start changing and reprogramming our mind.
Absolutely.
Through repetition.
Yep,
you know,
absolutely.
Through repetition.
Yeah, and it's you're just wiring your brain to believe something different about yourself.
Right. And I love that you said you don't have to believe it.
Right.
Because I know I've been like that too, and it's like, oh, I don't really believe it. There's no sign showing that it's going to happen for me.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm going to keep saying it until it shows up.
Yes, and it shows up eventually. You start, you teach your brain to believe something new, to have a new train of thought.
Right.
And the process is hard because you've trained your brain to believe so many negative things for such a long time about yourself.
Yes.
And so it really is intentional,
Mm-hmm.
intentionally like rewiring your brain to think differently.
Right.
And it
And
becomes natural after a while.
yeah, and I mean, to think it's possible,
Mhm.
change is
For
possible,
sure.
that your dreams are possible, your goals are possible,
Yeah.
all kinds of things. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, just to bring it to a close, is there anything that you would want to share? I know you mentioned that you have several different hats and things that
Yeah.
professions that you have and careers and things you're involved in. Is there anything that you want to share there that you didn't?
Trying to think, actor, producer, manage my
My
kids,
wife, yeah.
teacher,
It's like
student. I don't know. Let's see.
guitar
Oh,
player.
yeah, martial artist. Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. That sounds so weird to be like, why? April? And
Yeah.
then I'll be like, April, why do you do so much?
Yeah. It just shows you what we can do
Yeah,
as
yeah, for
humans.
sure.
We're powerful people. We're able to, have it all
Yeah,
and really do the things that we want to do in life. So,
yeah. I would say that really understand and know your why.
okay.
And and for me, that why is love. So I would hope that love would be at the center of everybody's reasons for doing
Right.
things. I would hope that they would do things because they love it, and they pour into the relationships that they do because they love them.
Right.
And so let everything you do be done in love. And, I'm a believer. So, and even, that has been a process as well, if that's okay for me to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I think that
Tell us more about that.
well, about my process, that journey,
Yeah.
spiritual journey.
Yeah.
I think I realized, especially, when the world shut down, I went through this whole like, oh my God, what is life?
Right.
I started having a lot of racial trauma come up, a lot of religious trauma come up, which was really shocking, and realized that a lot of my beliefs and my practices were based off of what I was told to do, not like a personal relationship with God.
Oh, wow.
And so I
Yeah,
did have
that
to
happens.
just really develop a deeper and stronger personal spiritual relationship and understand what was at the root of why I did the things I did spiritually and in my personal life. And it really did boil down to like me knowing that God instructed us to love,
Unconditionally, too.
unconditionally. And so
That's
this
so
world is
powerful.
so full of conditions.
So full.
And I realized I was full of conditions,
Right.
and so I don't want to be like that. I want to be as Christ-like as I can possibly be, and that comes with loving unconditionally. And so let everything that I do from now on, and hopefully everything that everyone else does, be inspired by love. Yeah, and so
I'm so glad that you said that and you shared that because, relationship trauma, religious trauma, all of that, I think sometimes we don't share that and we don't talk about it.
oh my goodness.
And I know for me, I've always seen the church is supposed to be a hospital, it's supposed to be a place of, comfort and solitude and all those things. And I saw in my personal journey that, it wasn't always, and so that can be hurtful.
It can be hurtful.
And,
Yeah, for sure.
and so I had to, like you, go to my knees. I had to seek, God for myself and not because, in a building, not with a particular person, not with people.
Right.
And I believe that I had attached the concept of, my personal walk with God to having to take place in a certain place, in a physical place, a building, with people and all of that. And I just realized, especially due to the pandemic, that, I can have a separate relationship and still give and still be a part of something if I want to be, but don't have to be. And I can still love freely, God freely for myself. So that's why I look for the signs too, because I believe, he's always speaking in different ways. And,
sure.
not to disrespect anybody that may have a different belief system, but we're believing in something. So whatever you believe in, it's important to foster the relationship that you have with that.
You know what did it for me? What made me realize what my why was and be more focused on like loving people and letting everything I do be in love was seeing so many people that I had this religious walk with do not show any form of love in their actions and behaviors.
Right.
And
Judging,
not caring,
gossiping.
not caring for others. When you think about like even our just cultural beliefs and how different they were.
Right.
I literally was just like hearing people who profess the love of God talk so bad about people who were oppressed and like, they deserved it, or it was mind blowing to me, or not even wanting to open up their minds enough to accept stories that weren't theirs,
Right.
or what they were taught to believe,
or what they heard.
Right. And just saying things that were so ugly and spiteful that it there was no love in any of their words. And so I really went through this, like I said, this very spiritual journey, religious journey, like, am I about religion, or am I like, I want this connection with God? God, what do you instruct us to do? And when it came down to it, he instructed us to love one another without condition. And I didn't see that in a lot of my friends that were claiming to be Christians, and it shook me to the core.
Yeah.
It really did. It shake me, and I didn't want to be like that.
Right.
And so I had this talk with God. I said, I don't want to be like that. I want to be a reflection of you.
Right.
And I just want to love unconditionally. And I think we all have our own conditions, because we're humans, and that's life. But my goal is to look past someone's race, condition, religion, and just love them the way God loved us.
Wow.
And so that is it's made me be more accepting of the people that have come into my life, be a more empathetic human being, have more understanding that my story is not the only story.
Right.
And I've been able to have better relationships, even with people that I don't know.
So good. So good.
And so like when I say that I feel like I'm in a really good place, it's because I feel like I can finally love the way God loved. And I don't know that anybody would ever love the way God loved, but I'm so much more closer to it than I've ever been.
Well, and I love that you have the awareness,
Yeah.
and the desire,
Yeah,
you can
for
have the
sure.
awareness without the desire.
Yeah.
So I think that's so powerful. Well, thank you for being here and
Yeah.
for sharing. And if you don't mind, look at the camera and just let the audience know where they can reach you, whichever one you want to.
Okay.
Let them know how they can reach you if
Okay.
they want to connect with you and work with you in some way, some capacity. Let them know.
Okay. Well, I'm like such a horrible marketing person. I probably shouldn't say that.
No.
But like everything that's come to me has just been so organic and natural, because I just share so freely.
Right.
But if you want to follow me,
since we have to do this,
since I have to give you my Instagram is Sweet April ANL. I think that's pretty much the main place where you can find me. We also have a family acting page called Patterson Talent.
Yay! Check them out. They're awesome.
We're crazy, so beware. Like, I've like tapered it a little bit, but now that we have this like crazy 5-year-old, it's out of control. So beware. Know what you're getting into. It's Patterson Talent, so you can see the family acting journey and my producing journey on there. On my page, I primarily try to just share my stuff, but it's really hard not to share my kids' wins too. So like I try not to double post, but you can find me at Sweet April ANL or Patterson Talent. And my newly formed production company is just a little under a year old, is called Elise Aaron Productions.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining Nikki Speaks TV today, the relationship series. I have April Patterson here. Please follow her, like her, love her. Her journey is amazing, and she is definitely one that you want to watch and connect to in 2022. See you next time. Thank you all for joining my show today on Nikki Speaks TV, the relationship series. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, or you can visit me at nikkispeakstherapy.com. See you next time.